I'm a big fan of using data to make association decisions. One way to get that is to conduct focus groups to find out a little bit more about what your association members expect and need from the association. In the best case scenario, you'd be able to work with a professional market research firm. You'll benefit from their expertise, their systems, and their experience with other associations like yours. But even when this isn't an option, I still believe that informal research is better than no research at all. And I have 5 questions that I like to ask. And I'd encourage you not only to start asking them, but to charge your officers and your board members with asking these questions as well. In fact, one association that I worked with actually sent their board members out into the association's meeting over a period of days, and they asked their board members not to sit together, but to go sit at different tables at each function during the annual meeting so that they could meet some new members and find out what was on their mind. What you want to do if you use this method of research is you want to look for repetition and patterns. What are you hearing over and over again, or what are you hearing that's new and a possibility for the association? Sometimes when you hear a new something, it's actually an iteration of something that has come before, or it's a new twist on something that you're hearing in the repeated patterns. One of my favorite parts of my job is that I get to visit with a lot of association leaders and staff. And often when I'm getting ready to speak and sitting at the lunch table ahead of time, I'll ask one of these questions just to give me a little extra information before I hit the stage. Here are my 5 favorite questions to ask, and I hope they'll be helpful to your association as well. The first is, what worries you each day about your line of work? Chances are you'll hear things like government regulations, continued relevance. Even as associations are struggling for relevance, some of our members are struggling for relevance as well. So those worries can actually turn into learning programs, can turn into summits where experts are brought in to talk about the challenges or issues. So that's a great question to ask. Another super question is, what worries you about the future of the profession? It's interesting to hear how members of different ages or different segments within the association might answer this differently. But again, you'll often see commonalities, and if you're able to figure out how to pull those commonalities into a learning system or a program or a topic, it will help you provide both programming and products for your members. What other association are you a member of, and what's the benefit of being a member of that association to you? That can be very instructive as well. Sometimes what we see is that several associations service the same segment. One might be stronger in government regulation and one might be stronger in education. And this might help reinforce what you believe your strength is and where you should be placing your focus and efforts in terms of providing programs and services. Here's another question. In 1 sentence or less, what's the value you get out of your membership in this association? That one usually stumps members, but it's interesting to hear how they respond. And when you ask them to do it in 1 sentence or less, that really forces them to focus on what's most important, and it is a way to help you rank what members value. The last question I'd suggest you ask is, what has to happen over the next year in order for you to feel like you got value out of your membership? Now, sometimes members don't know how to answer this, but when they do, you'll often get a unique and thoughtful response that will shed some light into why members are turning to you, and when they turn to you, why they're willing to write a dues check. So those are my 5 favorite questions, one that I ask often, and ones that will cost you nothing to ask if you use it as informal research for your association. I'm Mary Byers, author, Race for Relevance.